motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the mother, just look fresh. I ain't coming for no food.
I'm just gonna do what I do.
I ain't coming for no food.
I just wanna talk to you.
I ain't coming for no food.
Those are things that we gonna do right
I
here.
ain't scared of you, mother.
Right now. Thank you for riding with me.
I ain't coming for no food.
Let me get lights, light, camera, action. We on. What's up, main OG? Hold up, let me see who on. Who's across from me? Regardless who it is, they gon' talk to me and they gon' keep it real. And I'm gon' instill my philosophies. And possibly you can be here too if you just follow me. Let's kick it about your brand or your plan with no apology. So sit back and relax. Thanks for spending time with me. Don't comma who, comma me, comma you, comma D. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Comedy. That's C-O-M-M-A-D, and I am your host, Main OG. And I have the pleasure and privilege, and I say privilege for real though, to be having someone here sitting across from me who's not only talented on the stage, but she's talented in her own life. We're going to get into that a little bit more, but I want to introduce you guys, for all of you who do know her, and for those of you who don't, this is Mrs. T. Barb. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. You know, sometimes they say all you got to do is make a phone call, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all I did, is make one phone call. And you was like, Mano, I'm telling you, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. And I'm like, I'm trying to be that way too, but can you make sure you make some room for me? And you did, so thank you for that.
Yes, I did. No problem.
All right, well, we talking about that already.
Okay.
So since we gonna jump into that, I know you about to skedaddle. Where you going when you leave here? When you leave me before this week is out and all that old good stuff, where you showing up at?
Well, tonight I'm showing up at somebody's restaurant to give me something to eat. And I'm probably gonna watch the Dave Chappelle special or something like that, because I do have a pretty busy week. So I enjoy the days off, which really aren't a day off. You know, when you're an entrepreneur and you're an entertainer on your own, even your days off, you working, whether that's social media, whether that's scripts, whether that's posting or calling, you know, you're always working. So this particular week, I have a couple shows tomorrow. I have a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm going to New York on Monday.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I wanted you to jump there, you know. I wasn't, you know, I know you busy down here in the D, you know what I'm saying? You like, pew, 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 you know, like you like the road runner. I want you, like, because I had Marv on here, and he leaves, everybody leaves every now and then, but, you know, I asked him, I said, well, you know, how do you pick out the places that you want to go to? I said, do you just close your eyes and throw it on the map? He said, kind of, sort of like that.
Okay.
Like, because you here and there everywhere, how do you pick and choose where you go? How do you do that?
Well, you usually kind of see what places you feel are popping or that have opportunities.
Okay.
So everything I do is opportunity based.
Okay.
So if I go somewhere, I usually know someone or I had to connect there, at least a building point. It doesn't have to be a lot. You know, it's like Legos. If I got 1 or 2 Legos, that's the base, and I can build up from there. So I've been to New York before. I made a few connections there. I was just there a couple of weeks, maybe like a month or so ago. So you want to follow up and go those places. And of course, New York and LA, I feel like are just a given. You know, but I've had the pleasure of going other places based on some of my comedy friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to DC.
Yeah.
Lawrence Owens in the building, and you know,
He gave his own sound effect, y'all. That wasn't even my work right there. That's a co-producer, y'all. He in the building, y'all.
But you go places, or let's say a comic from out of town comes here. You want to make sure that you cross those bridges so you can give them opportunities. They can give you opportunities, and that's how you make the wheels spin.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, but you alluded to it. I was going to say because you actually have someone from DC here, and this is how the connection works. You bring them in, you say, hey, this is what it is. You try to find them a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, leave an impression, and then those people might want them back, might want you back. So yeah, I understand how that goes because you say opportunity.
Opportunity, and I think that a lot of people, and not just jumping into another segue, I always like to touch on this because when you're a comic and you go out of town, the first thing people will ask you is, did they pay you and how much? A lot of times we spend our money to go places. But don't think of it as an investment, because you're investing that money to get to know these people. People don't just throw you on the stage and don't know you.
Right.
They need to know you.
Right.
So
you got to build a relationship.
You build a relationship, and then that may lead to that one time that you spent on that one trip may lead to 20 years of money, 10 years of money, 5 years of money, and a continuous relationship. So don't always worry about getting paid up front or what you make up front.
You know, we had a call today on my job. You know, we've been doing the Zoom, and we do a lot of icebreakers. And I wasn't hosting the meeting this time. It was someone else. It was Zach, but he lives all the way in California.
Okay.
So he asked us, you know, how would we define investment? And that's an icebreaker. So, you know, my question was investing into myself. And what you just mentioned was when people ask you how much you get paid, did they pay you? And you were like, well, don't worry about that part. The investment came when you put your own gas in the car, you bought your own room, you went down there, you spent your time, you made the connections though. See, that's where the payoff come from, and that's what helped you get those 5-year, 10-year plans in where people can book you all across the country. And I'm glad you said that. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for right here on Comedy, because, you know, everybody funny on the stage, hee, ha, ha, but life is real. And some of the things that we have to do is invest into ourselves. So quit looking for people to always give you something when you can't even give yourself something. When people see you struggling, I use this analogy all the time. I can't help you fight if your hands ain't balled up. Now if you running, if you looking like you struggling, if you throwing some blows back, and I can help you because I see you fighting. But if your hands ain't balled up, then I can't help you fight. But you keep asking me to help you. It doesn't work that way. And life is like that. So T-Bob, thank you for talking about that part. And moving right along. You mentioned entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know you from that part. You know, I met you on stage. And then I turned around and saw you at one of the events that my job throws for people. And you were out there and I couldn't help it. It blew my wig back. What's that all about? Tell me about that.
Well, your union booked my hot dog cart. So I have a hot dog cart called Delicious Dogs. I've been in the hot dog business for about 16 years now.
Wow.
I bought this hot dog cart fresh out of college. I worked there when I was in college. And it's just been a business that I've always had, that I've always worked, that I've always maintained. I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, for 16 plus years. And I've learned to adapt based on the economy. So initially, you know, we were out every day, but once Corona hit, we changed to an event-only business model. And we were fortunate enough to be recognized as one of the official vendors for the state of Michigan for our great governor.
Look at that.
And she's booked me several times, the African American Leadership Award. And that's why I say, sometimes don't worry about that. Be in the right place at the right time. You never know where that may lead. And a lot of people saw me do the press conference from the governor, including your job. And they booked me to do you all's, I think it was a voting event. So that was deep, and I appreciate you. So, and this day I was actually working myself. So I had an employee with me, but I was putting in some hard labor.
Hey, did you hear what she said? Hold up. There's one key element she just said. She got employees. You see what I'm saying? Like this woman she's entrepreneurial enough. Like I'm an entrepreneur, but if somebody came to help me, I'd be broke. So she is able to have an employee. That means that sets a standard for business right there. Because with employees come certain benefits and certain tax write-offs and things of that nature. You have to learn how to do it. She knows how, I guarantee you, because as soon as this camera cut off, I'm gonna bring out my portfolio and I'm gonna ask if she can help me out. Now, I didn't get a chance to see you live on Fox 2 News.
Okay.
And you talk about your hot dog cart, but you weren't talking about hot dogs.
No. So I had the privilege of being on Fox 2 about 2.5 weeks ago. I headlined the Motor City Comedy Festival here.
Okay.
So it was an honor because I was the only black person and the only female to headline that festival. So it was huge because they brought in Miss Pat before. They brought in people from across the country. This year they were making it a local focus with the way the Corona was, who they felt was their favorite here. And so with that, I ended up being interviewed on Fox 2 News. It was so crazy because I was in California when they interviewed me and they Skyped it live. But they invited me to come back for Meatless Monday. So a lot of people don't know I am a vegan. And I have a vegan cookbook out called The Hood Rat Kitchen. And they asked me to make something. So they came out to my house and they brought a camera crew, well, a cameraman. And they had me cook live.
I got that picture too. I'm taking that off Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So they just saw it.
Yeah. So I was looking much cuter that day. And I cooked live on Fox 2, so it was pretty dope.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that I like, that I see with my contemporaries, you know, people that run the gamut with me. And, you know, I'm a graduate of Specs Howard. I mention that a lot. And, you know, I worked in radio for a while. And just to be able to see, you know, some of the celebrities, the gospel celebrities that would come through there, the Moss family and things of that nature, the Haddons and all of those guys. And then the comics started sliding through, you know, like the Ian Winans, the Winan family and stuff like that.
I've worked with him before.
Yes, yeah, I did a movie with them called The Next Generation. I was gonna get into my little movie stuff a little later on, but yeah, I did. Martini Harris was in that movie as well, right along with Mason Pryor, which is Richard Pryor's son.
That's amazing.
Yes, we were all in the movie together called The Next Generation. And but to be able to see the people that's coming through, and then like that was so much motivation for me, because I had only been doing comedy. I've been funny all my life, but I've been doing comedy line since about 2011, and about 10, 11, 12 years now. So, and I've been busting my chops, and I had been wanting to come out. And then once I'm sitting here, I'm talking like, I'm working at a gospel station, so my whole mentality is clean. So that's how I started. Yeah. And then here it is, the Mike Larry's and them come through here, Martini Harris and them come through here, and they being interviewed and like, come do my church. And I'm like, you can go do a church and these guys is back, they cussing shit, and I can't, I'm holding my tongue. So just to see that, it gave me an opportunity to get an opportunity. So when I finally came out and saw the people, they recognized me. Some of them was like, oh yeah, I remember.
That's the guy.
Yeah, that's my man. Yeah, you was at the radio station. Yeah, we did do that. You know, some of them looked at me and was like, yeah, but those ain't the ones I'm actually looking for. You understand what I'm saying? So they get them out of my space. But those are the ones, some of the ones, such as yourself. Even when I met you and we talked for the first couple of times, you were doing radio at the time too.
Yeah,
you know
I was with the Streets Radio.
Yeah, and you had asked me to come do an interview, but doing what I do, I got a little busy, and this is what you would have got if you would have invited me to your show. And depending on whatever subject you would have talked about, you probably would have got the philosophical Mano or the asshole Mano. It didn't matter whichever way you was going. I was gonna be prepared.
We be prepared for
that's what's up. Yeah. And besides the cooking, you know, I just gotta ask you one thing. You know, I ask all of my comics this, and there will be regular people on here too, not just comics. And because regular people funny too, they just don't know it. And I'm gonna draw it out of them. That's what comedy is for. You know, it's Detroit, comma. That's everybody. It's a continuous. It keeps going and going and going. Nothing stops a comma but a period. That's the end. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're gonna be doing around here. I need to know, since you've been doing this for so long.
What you mean, comedy?
Comedy.
I'm 5 years in.
Okay, all right. 5 years in. Oh, you doing your hot dog business for 16 years. Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me get my facts straight, y'all.
Okay.
I was
like, I don't want you to be confused.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be somebody been doing comedy for 20 years. It's gonna be like, this girl is a baby.
Right. She just showed up.
Yeah, she just showed up.
But since you just showed up, I need to know who were some of your influences. Who first told you were funny, and when did you first go on? What was your first time going on?
When you say my influence, you mean comedy influence?
Yes.
So I like Red Fox and I love Lucille Ball.
Well,
so those,
you kind of, if they had a black Lucille Ball, you put some red. I think you got a picture that looked like that. Yep. And guess what? They just saw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that one up. I can't try to say something.
So I'm a big Red Fox fan because. And I know some people say Lucille Ball was president, whatever, at that time. But what I admired about her was she was one of the first women to have her own show that she led back in the day when women weren't even allowed to do certain things.
That's right.
And, you know, regardless of who was racist about, she was the first one to show interracial things on television. You know, I love Carol Burnett as well. But in Red Fox, yeah, I love him because he was unapologetic. He the only guy got away with saying hunky over and over. He didn't care who was there, and he put his friends on. He was another first to have a television show where he kind of controlled the narrative instead of tap dancing the way people wanted to. So those were two of my influences. And my father. My father was extremely funny. As far as saying who said I was the first person to be funny, I've just always been a goofball. I was goofy before it was popular. It just was not popular to be goofy and silly, and that's just always been who I am. It's just who I am as a person. Right. And if you met my parents, you probably won't understand, but I've just always been a big goofball. So that's, everybody told me I was funny. That's how I got into comedy.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, you know, and the last one was, where was the first place you ever did comedy?
The first place I did comedy was at Maccabee's. It's Shields Pizza now. It was on Woodward and Warren with Monique King. Right. So shout out to Monique King. I always give her a lot of praise for that. Me and Monique King was co-workers, and she invited me to do my first comedy set.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people talk about their family members. You know, I talk about mine, you talk about yours, you know, and some of the influences when you talk about the Carol Burnett's and, you know, the Lucille Balls, you know, it's kind of hard to not look at those women and be like, they were hilarious, you know. And like you said, despite they tendencies behind the camera, away from the camera, but what they gave you was a quality product. And what they gave you was something to laugh at and think about. And I look, me, I'm a black man, you know, and I love the Lucille Ball show. You know, I loved her.
I love Lucy.
Yeah, I love Lucy. Right, there
Ricky.
it is. Yeah. Right. Oh my God, that was so irritating. But I learned to get along with a whole lot of women comics and stuff like that, like you know, Whoopi Goldberg and stuff. I was like, is she a comedian? Because the first time I really paid attention to
Whoopi Goldberg,
she was an actor.
Yeah, well, Whoopi Goldberg,
actress rather.
I think, well, I won't say underrated, but in today we don't look at some of the greats. Whoopi is one of the greats. Kenan, Ivory Wayans, Robert Townsend. Robert Townsend is a big influence of mine. So I look at all those guys, and that's kind of, I'm more influenced by some of the older ones, because when I started being a comedian, I wasn't a fan of comedy. And what I mean by that is I wasn't watching comedy specials, and I didn't know who was who. When I stepped into the Detroit scene, I didn't know nobody that did comedy.
Good.
I went to go meet Kool-Aid. I didn't know who he was or what he looked like. Yeah. I mean, come to find out, he ended up being my mentor and one of my biggest influences as well. But I didn't know. So I didn't come in on that end of the, like Monique invited us to a comedy show. I think that might have been like the second time I ever seen live comedy. And I was like, I like this. You know, I'm going to do it. And I'm putting it on my bucket list. And we went from there. So.
Yeah, and you know, the influences come from a whole lot of different places and stuff like that. And because you had no idea who anybody was, that's a good thing.
I mean, I knew the big guys, but I'm saying like people would go like bakers or go frequent comedy nights. I've never done that like here. Like, let's go down Thursday night to. So this was a whole new world for me, you know, and I'm glad I became a part of that world. But
yeah, well, I'm glad
I just came out of nowhere. Let's say that.
And the only reason why I say that, I'm glad you became part of that world too, because there are a lot of people who have multiple gifts. And we talked about a couple of the things that you have done as far as your entrepreneurship is concerned, as far as you having employees, as far as you getting out of town, getting booked, making a name for yourself, getting all on Fox 2. You know, all of that stuff is fine and dandy. When you settle down and the lights is out, like the lights bright, you told me earlier I had to cut them off a little bit, cut them down. She was looking a little white.
They think you interviewing a Caucasian lady.
Yeah. I got you covered, baby. So when all of the lights is out, you know what I'm saying? Not literally in your household or whatever, but these kind of lights.
Oh, you trying to make it known that I got enough to pay my DT bill. That's okay. I love that.
Yeah, that's all right.
I love that.
I know you're gonna keep the lights on. That hot dog truck got
I'm on the DT budget plan.
Oh, you know, $100 a month, no matter what it is.
Don't care.
That's what I'm talking about. But when all the lights is out and things of that nature, and you get a chance to chill, what is something that you don't get a chance to, but that little smidgen of time? What do you just listen to music? Cause I heard going fishing. You know, I heard all kind of stuff. You're like, what do T-Barb do?
It really depends. So I'm a mom, so a lot of times I spend time with my son. We'll go do stuff. We'll go kayaking. We'll go out to eat. I'm a big foodie, so I'm big on cooking food and trying new recipes. I love to cook, so that's fun for me. Bonfires, I throw great parties when I get a chance to throw them. Watching a movie for me is such a luxury that's like, I felt good. Like 1 week I watched 4 movies. You could not tell me anything. I think this was Labor Day weekend. My auntie was here.
And one day?
No, the week.
The week.
Hell no. Who got folks to throw movies in one sitting? Hell no. I'm talking about throughout the week. My aunt came and stayed for a week, and we did watch 2 one day. On the holiday, we watched 2.
Okay, yeah.
And then, because she's older, she liked to watch movies and chill. So I felt really accomplished in being able to watch the movies. Like, I was like, wow.
So you as little time as you do have, you try to make it count.
I make all my time count.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. I can never do just one thing at one time. It always has to be multiple things at all times. So when I get a chance to just do one thing or lay in the bed or sleep or something, it doesn't happen often. I maybe get 2 to 3 days a month, maybe, to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's tough. And here you talking to a guy that get the weekends off every weekend. So
Listen, it's so scandalous. I thought I was off Saturday, and then somebody posted a flyer. I forgot I had a show Saturday.
Busy. That's what I'm talking about right there. See, when you turn around,
today was my off day, and I came for you. So it's still my off day.
Still rocking, you know.
And I've been at my other job, because like you were saying, I have a home health agency as well. So
we ain't even tap into that.
I had to do payroll today.
Oh, see what I'm saying? Is that something that you came up? That's yours too?
Yeah.
Now I know you talking about payroll. See what I'm saying? Payroll. Look, I just rolled the pay.
And still ain't got no money. That's the problem.
But
that's the problem.
She's making someone's
I'm doing
house
all that and still ain't got no money.
She's making someone else
life
better. She's making someone else happier because they are able to keep their.
When they gonna make me happy and give me some money?
They can't get to.
That's all I'm saying. Donations accepted. tbarbisfunny.com.
That's
Cash
right.
App T-Barb.
That's exactly where we at.
$2.
You can tell she's a veteran of this here because this is exactly where we at. We at that moment where we have a couple of minutes left, and what you just shouted out, I want you to slow down, make them read it, make them hear it, because I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Tell them where they can handle you, your Cash App, whatever.
All right. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at I am T-Barb. That's I-A-M, T as in Tom, B as in boy, A-R, B as in boy. That's I am T-Barb. Or you can follow my food page at The Hood Rat Kitchen. Also on Facebook, my fan page is Comedian T-Barb. You can go to my website, always see where I'm gonna be at next. www.tbarbisfunny.com. I have my vegan cookbook there, The Hood Rat Kitchen. Also have my first motivational memoir there, which is called Faith Over Fear, Tales of a Retired Hood Rat. So you can get both of those there. I have new t-shirts dropping that say you don't have to stay where you start, which is one of my major mottos. So you can grab all things T-Barb, all my merch at tbarbisfunny.com. You can inquire about booking me. You can join the website. I plan to in the next month, I'm going to be doing some vlogs and some behind the scenes stuff for people that exclusively subscribe to my website. So make sure that you check in, tbarbisfunny.com. I just got a TikTok page. I'm sucking on there with the 90 locks. So come see me, Comedian T-Barb or Tiffany is my name on TikTok. And I think that about sums it up.
Yeah,
tbarbentertainment@gmail.com.
She actually needed the 2 minutes because I'd be like, we got 2 minutes left. They'd be like, yeah, meet me at ABC 123.
And
so
every
anyway,
Monday at 90's Knowledge Cafe, 71 Oakman. It goes down. This is the only place where you can see a live game show. So I do the dating game or the newlywed game. Every week is live. I'm bringing in the best and the hottest comedians from all across the country. Like I said, my dog Lawrence from DC. I've had Funky Robinson.
There you go again.
We have
Funky
Robinson. We had Tony Roberts stop through next week. We've had Foolish. We've had Millman. I mean, we've had
myself.
Top. Mano has done it, so we've had some of the top comedians from all across the country. Top Flight from Philly has done it. I mean, I've had a lot. Glenn Fox from Kentucky just did it as Wrong We Wrong. So we've had a lot of the top comedians, and we look forward to growing. So come see me every Monday at 90s. No matter what, Monday at 97.
And make sure you bring $10 too to get in, because they ain't playing.
No, they ain't playing.
Yeah, so I would like to thank you, and there's a sidebar because I am you am I,
right.
And we are human. You are, I forgot to give you a shout out, you probably just mentioned it, but you are a published author. I am a published author. Yeah. See, the wheels on the bus go round and round, and this is what I'm talking about. This is a well-rounded woman. I would like to thank you, T-Barb, for coming, showing me some mad love in your busy schedule, taking time out to be with your mans, Mano, right here on Comedy. That's COMMAD. And until the next time we meet, I want to holler at you when you come back from New York. You know what I'm saying? Just to spice it up, and we'll come back and she gonna share with you guys what happened out there in New York. Hopefully she got some pictures, because if she put them on the book, I'm taking them.
That's what I'm talking about. Make sure you shout out. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, good night, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Thank you for hanging out with me and my guests right here on Comedy. I've been your host, Mano G. You can catch me on any of my platforms at Mano McCann. That's MANOMCCANN. That's YouTube and Facebook. If you would like to be a guest right here and sit down and chop it up with me about anything, just please go to my platforms and leave me a message. I'll be sure to get back with you and have you across from here in no time. Again, thank you, and God bless you. Have a great day.
So sit back and relax. Thanks for spending time with me. Comma who, comma me, comma you, comedy.